When my family moved into our new home, it felt like we had found the perfect setup. The neighborhood was classic suburbia, big yards, quiet streets, and a high density of kids my age running around outside. But we shared a property line with a problem. The elderly man next door was hostile in a way that went far beyond the standard friction between a retiree and noisy neighborhood children. As you can see in this layout, the man had an unobstructed view of everything. From his second-story bedroom window, he had a direct line of sight into our side yard and all the way out to the middle of the street. The moment any of us stepped outside, he appeared at that glass. He would hammer his fists against the pane and scream for us to get away from his house, even when we were playing football in the middle of the public road. For 6 months, this was his entire identity to us. We knew nothing of his personal life or his history. He existed only as the source of that angry, obsessive surveillance. Then the routine broke. No more banging on the glass, no more screaming. The windows stayed empty. We were kids, and we were relieved. We even made jokes about it, casually telling each other that the old man had probably finally died. This timeline reveals the reality we were living through. For 30 days, we played in the street, enjoying the silence. But inside the house, the man had already passed away, lying undiscovered for that entire 4-week stretch. The truth finally arrived in the middle of the night. My friend Joel and I watched from my bedroom as police lights flickered against the neighbor's siding, and 2 people carried a heavy, zipped-up bag through the front door. The realization was immediate and chilling. We had spent a month laughing and playing just a few yards away from a house that was secretly holding a corpse. After the body was removed, the house remained exactly as he left it. His son lived several states away and had no interest in the property, so decades of the man's furniture and belongings sat untouched in the dark. My bedroom window faced his directly. One night, while getting ready for bed, I saw a soft, flickering light inside his room. It wasn't the harsh beam of a flashlight. It looked like a single candle. The next night, the light was back, and this time a stationary silhouette stood right behind the curtain. The figure didn't move an inch. It simply stood there for several minutes before it slowly retreated back into the shadows of the room, taking the light with it. The man was gone, but the physical void in that room was being occupied by something attempting to resume his exact nighttime routine. I needed to know if I was imagining things. When Joel stayed over again, I asked him to watch the neighbor's window, but I didn't tell him what I had been seeing. Within minutes, he saw it too. He pointed out the flickering candlelight and the dark, static shadow of a person standing behind the glass. As we watched, the shadow finally moved. It slowly raised a single, flat hand and pressed its palm firmly against the glass, facing us. We both scrambled back from the window at the same time. Neither of us slept for the rest of the night. The shadow had acknowledged us. It was no longer just a static image from the past. The watcher was back at his post, and he knew we were there. A few months later, I was alone in my room late at night. I was at my desk, keeping my back turned to the window, trying to focus on anything else. I heard a single, very distinct knock. It came from the direction of the empty house next door. I stayed perfectly still. Then came 3 more knocks, slow, rhythmic, and evenly spaced, echoing out from the dark, vacant property. I didn't turn around. I turned off my lamp, crawled into bed, and lay there in the dark for hours, paralyzed by the sound. The house didn't need me to look anymore to make sure I knew it was there. Closing my eyes or turning my back didn't provide any protection. The presence had found a way to bridge the gap. Rational explanations are easy to find. Old houses settle and groan, pipes knock, passing car headlights can cast strange reflections on a window. You can attribute all of it to the hyperactive imaginations of 2 kids in the dark. However, random house noises don't typically target the same window with a candlelit routine night after night. These events mirrored the dead man's specific habits with chilling accuracy. The neighborhood was finally rid of the man, yet the house refused to let go of his obsession. It's as if the hate he spent years perfecting simply had nowhere else to go. The house was eventually sold. A new family moved in with kids who were about the same age I was when we first moved to the street. I never told them about the month the man spent decaying in that bedroom, and I never mentioned the flickering lights or the knocks. But sometimes I wonder if those kids ever look up at that dark window at night, and if they ever see a hand pressed against the glass.